What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike. If you don't know a rating, we're going to be doing a rating for the Aquarius. So let's see what we got for you guys real quick, okay? Hopefully you guys are good. See what we got. Alright, Aquarius. What's the message for the Aquarius? We have humor, right? I choose to focus on the lighter side of life, right? Humor came off for you guys, so focusing on the lighter side. Now, there are going to be situations where you might seem like they might come off as negative, but a lot of things that we think are negative are just learning points, right? Just because you're speaking on a negative subject doesn't mean it is negative, right? Remember that. You know, not all the time it's going to be a positive situation where it's going to be full of laughter, but just try to see things as a learning experience. I apologize for the little cut in the camera. Don't worry about that. We're not going to focus on the minor things. We're going to focus on the bigger results, disregarding this card. But as far as this card goes, make sure that you guys are focusing on the brighter side of things, even through negative situations. Focus on the brighter side. I'm gonna give an example. This camera is going to glitch in and out, but we're going to focus on getting the videos done and not worry about the little minor things, right? So, humor. Humor came up for you guys. Let's see. Spirit, what we got? Got happiness and empathy. So happiness, I am aware that being happy means that I am on the right path, right? A lot of people are not happy these days. So they're not on the right path, and they'll lie to you if they say they are, right? A lot of people need to find their journey, need to find their true purpose, right? I thought my purpose was something different, right? I had to find out that through other situations that, well, I like talking to people. I like speaking, not just positivity, but seeing how I can make things better, right? So this is kind of my field, and I enjoy doing this. So I feel like a lot of people should as well do their own journeys, right? If you're not happy, then that's probably not your journey. I've been in situations and jobs where I thought I was happy, but then overall, when I look back on it, I'm not as happy as I thought I was, right? So we have empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. Again, this is coming from a situation, I want to say a mindset of just looking at things from a broader aspect, right? We can often look at things one side and be judgmental, but we gotta look at both sides. That's the only way we're gonna feel empathy for both situations, right? So just keep that in mind. We have judgment. That's crazy. I just said this. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges, right? So being judgment, or kind of refraining from being as judgment as you particularly do, just try to keep in mind that people is going to have their own situations. Now, you can't reflect on people's lifestyles. You can't look at the lifestyles. You can't analyze it. You can't learn from it. But it's important not to be like, say for an example, you have a relative or whatever, and you're like, okay, you see them doing their thing. You probably don't agree with it. You probably don't, wouldn't indulge in that lifestyle. But instead of you saying, oh, they should do this or they should do that, just tell yourself, look, I probably wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's important that we recognize things that we wouldn't do and things we don't agree with versus completely blaming or completely judgmenting that person. Because then again, everybody has their own situations, right? Let's see what else we got for the Aquarius. What we got, Spirit? We have lessons in blood, right? So this is coming from a standpoint where I feel like this coming from a standpoint of feeling like you're gonna go through certain struggles, right? And I was just speaking on this to a relative. I was telling a relative, like, you're gonna kind of go through certain situations. Like, it might be, you might have to actually go through a little process of, like, I don't want to say pain, but kind of like losing stuff, right? Kind of like blood represents, like, you guys know, if you bleed, it's like painful, whatever. It's just loss, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna take some type of losses, you're gonna take some type of L's to probably be successful wherever you're at, or even be grateful for your experiences, right? Sometimes you're gonna have to go through those experiences, right? While you're going through this process, I want you guys to look at things in a lighter aspect, right? In a humorous aspect, thinking light of it. Not saying that you're gonna, like, not take it serious, but I remember I was in a predicament where I lost my environment, and I had to move to another relative, stay with a relative, and instead of me kind of, fall into that slump of depression, I just kept the same lifestyle. That's also important. I was talking to my twin flame about this. Make sure that you guys are not getting attached to your materials, rather your lifestyle. You have to have a set lifestyle, because your lifestyle helps you maintain those materials. So make sure you guys focusing on your lifestyle. For an example, when I went ahead and I moved to the relative's house, instead of me indulging in like a depression state or whatever the case is, I just started to do exactly what I was doing when I was at the other person's house. I was just, training or whatever. I'm not saying you have to train, but that was my lifestyle. Get up in the morning, do my training, go handle business or whatever the case is. So I adapted the same flow of life. I something happened, I moved. Disregarding what happened it's not applicable to you guys, but I moved, and then I just end up doing the same thing, and then I got back on my feet. So the point is like, don't allow the materials to make you who you are. Make sure that your lifestyle depicts where you want to go in life. So for me, I wanted to be focused. I want to be on time. I wanted to do all of these things. I had to wake up early. I had to do what I had to do to make it early. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. When you go through these processes, just try to think beyond what it's showing you. You know what I'm saying? We have recharge your destiny, right? And this just comes from a lifestyle, right? Again, going back to what I just said, like recharging it. Okay, for an example, like I just said, if I moved and I was, instead of me going into that depression state, I decided to get back on my game. You guys gotta start to get back on your game too. Like, you're feeling in a slump or whatever the case is, do what you would normally do if you wasn't in that situation, right? Don't, like I said, don't allow the situation to make you. We have to make our own situations, right? In some cases, we can, paddle back. We can, come away from that environment. But I'm talking about and this is why it's important to focus on yourself and build on your character, right? You guys have to stay away from social media. You guys have to refrain from just absorbing your energy and your time into things that are not going to, build you up. Things that are considered entertainment, but we often use these as excuses. Like I've seen it where even me, like back then, I would, like, if I was like real self-control, I would like watch TV and all of this, and then it's like, it's supposed to be entertainment, but then I'm using it as a form of distraction more so, right? Kind of like our cell phones, right? We use them as a distraction sometimes, and whether we know it or not, our time's running out. So make sure that you guys are focused on things that's going to better you, or at least keep you in that not even that positive flow, but just that level of maintenance, right? That kind of energy where you can get things done, So if you guys feel like you're drifting off, try to recharge yourself by coming back to your original things that you like to do, Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's see what else we got. What else for the Aquarius? We got better with time. So this is a reminder for you guys that things do get better with time, right? Y'all can see that? Okay. Things will get better with time. You gotta give yourself time too. Like, make sure that you guys are not like, got this. I've refrained from trying to get things when I want to get them. You know what I mean? I'm allowing universe to take the wheel, because we feel like in this fast world, you know what I'm saying? You got online businesses, you got food that you can order, and get delivered within 15 minutes. It's this whole chat. It's this fast world we live in today, So, it's not like back then. Remember back, I wasn't around way back when, but like, let's say I have a garden, because I have a little fruits or whatever, little vegetables or whatever outside. If and they take a long time to grow, right? You take patience, but when they finally grow, you're happy. My point is, in this fast world we live in, patience can seem like a lot, because you're so used to going to the grocery store, just grabbing it. You don't have to wait for the carrots and the apples to grow off the tree. So my point is, allowing things to have time is like one of the biggest things we gotta start to focus on, and we gotta just start to lay back and allow things to play out. I know it feels like, you want to get things quick because you're so used to getting things quick, whether you know it, whether you consciously know it or not. Your subconscious mind is always used to getting things quick. When you want to go to the grocery store, or you want to get food, you walk to the grocery store. When you want to go get cake, you can literally go down to the grocery store and grab cake. You ain't even gotta bake it these days. You know what I'm saying? So because all of these things are accessible to us, our brain kind of has this stimulation of like, it knows that we can get things quick. So it kind of has us feeling like things should happen quicker than we wanted to. Whether you're starting a channel, whether you're starting a career path, whether you're going through school, whatever the case is, you want things. Whether you're looking for love, you want things to happen quick. You feel me? Your brain wants things to happen quick because it knows the way the world's set up right now is everything else is quick. So why can't you get that specific thing quick? We just gotta remind ourselves every day it takes time, it takes patience. And the best things in life does take a minute. You feel me? And when I say a minute, I'm not. It might take a year, 10 years, whatever, right? But when you find your true love, your true twin flame, and sometimes it's like very spontaneous, like you might go in the grocery store and not expect it, and then bam, there's your girl right there, or there's your guy right there, or you might scratch off a ticket, not expecting it, but just because you was in the it was convenient because you was already buying drinks at the liquor store or whatever, or at the gas station, and then scratch it off, and then bam, next thing you know, your lottery ticket, and it happened perfectly within that time. Like everything happens in perfect time when you fall back and allow the universe to take its place. Yes, you gotta do your part and do your thing, and you gotta scratch your lottery tickets to win a lottery. Yes, but make sure you guys are doing it on a natural basis and not like trying to rush things, because anything that's rushed is not worth having, right? Like think of like bridges and railways and all of that. If they rush your roads, you is not gonna want to drive on them because they're gonna be all messed up and all of that. So if an example, if you took your car into the mechanic shop and he pulled that car out in 2 minutes and he's talking about he just switched out ignition, you're gonna question his whole theory of mechanics, because it's gonna be like, well, it's gonna take a little like, you're gonna be like to yourself, I'm not a mechanic, but I know it takes a little longer than 2 minutes to change out a part on a car. So we gotta look at all these things, because one thing, time is like the biggest, it can either benefit you or, mess your whole day up depending on how much time you got. But a lot of things to get better with time. Let's see what else we got. We have find your way home, right? Find your way home. Now, keep in mind, right? Every house is not a home, right? So if you guys are feeling like, you wanna have your home, right, or have a home, right? I want you guys to, or look. You gotta find what is it that you like as a home? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes on to finding your way home, you want to make sure that your spirit feels good. Like I've like, okay, I don't know if you guys ever went to somebody's house and it's not about how big or small the house is. It's just about the feeling, the vibe that you get from it, right? And sometimes it can be draining, sometimes it could be inspiring. Something that heals your soul is gonna be a certain home for you. When you guys are moving to your place, or you get your own place, or even if you're staying with your peoples, try to make it roomy. Try to make it, what I'm saying, get your incense or whatever going. Get your soul lifting, because one thing I've been taught, like 2-3 years ago, is your home is your sanctuary. That's why you shouldn't allow, that's why they say like don't allow no drama going on in your crib, especially if it's not nothing to do with you, but it's something to do with somebody else trying to bring that to your house. Like, don't let that, because your home is supposed to be your peace place. It's supposed to be somewhere where you can actually enjoy. Granted, I know things happen that you can't control, like things outside of the thing end up coming in the house, like all types of crazy stuff happens, and God forbid anything from happening for you guys, but most cases we can't control what goes on in our house. We can't control the company we bring in. We should be able to control the items we have. How you guys get like the TV and the best bed and all of that stuff to make it like more roomy and more comfortable. You gotta make sure that the whole vibe is right there, So every house ain't a home, but if you guys do have a home or you guys do have a house, make sure you guys are making it roomy, you know what I mean? And allow your spirit to find its way into into that kind of house type of vibe. Like allow it to really feel itself out, right? See what else we got. Whew. All right. See what we got, Spirit. We got manifesting miracles, right? Thank the origin for manifesting your miracles in my world, right? Thank you, origin, for manifesting my miracles in my world, right? So you're manifesting miracles, right? One quick way that you could do this on a daily basis is just to ask for it, really, and just to discuss about it. Like, I know it sounds cliche to be like, look, let me tell you guys something, right? I don't want you guys to get confused when it comes down to wanting things and being grateful for things. Now, you can want things and be grateful for what you got. You just have to put it out there in the universe. You have to kind of put that energy out there. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying, like, say you're renting and you were like, you know what, one day I would like to have my own house. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that, because at least you're kind of putting that energy out there. I mean, who don't? You know what I'm saying? Or if you're a manager at your restaurant or something that you work at and you're like, you know, one day I would like to own my own restaurant. There's nothing wrong with putting that energy out there, because what you're doing is you're insinuating to the universe that, hey, this is what I want. I'm grateful, because what you're saying is you're showing the attitude that you're grateful for your position, but one day you would like to. So you're not saying I want it now. You're saying one day, meaning you're giving the universe time to react to you. You know what I'm saying? So you say one day I would like for this to happen, and you're putting that positive energy out there. So then eventually it will come back to you guys, right? So just keep that in mind when it comes down to it, manifesting. Also be careful what you say and how you say it, because things do come back. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you guys be careful for your wordplay. Your words are very powerful, right? You guys see it all the time. Things do happen in a certain way where people do speak things, and if it's ill things will come to you. If it's positive things will come, right? This one thing. Also, not even just on a spiritual note, but also on an everyday basis. Like your what you say is how you think, right? I know I've been in a situation where I've told somebody like what the words that was said to me was how they felt about me, right? Because people's not just gonna say things if they don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? So once you understand that, you start to not only choose your words wisely, but also be able to choose the words that you actually wish to come back to you, right? So keep that in mind. Your words are very powerful, and if you would like to manifest things, I will encourage you guys to manifest things that you actually want to happen. I wish one day, but putting that one day in there gives the universe that indication that you're willing to wait for that position. So which means they're kind of preparing it. It's kind of like a restaurant. You go to the classiest restaurants, typically they spend a little bit more time than fast food, because fast food, no offense, they just throw it in the bag. They don't really have to make it all nice and do all of that. When the restaurant comes, it's more prepped, you know what I'm saying? And then you taste it. Now this can be, you know, depending on the situation, the vibe, we might feel like a milkshake one day, and one day we might feel like a fancy smoothie. You know, I'm not saying that it tastes better, but what I am saying is a lot more work done in the more up type restaurants than anything, because there's a lot more preparation, gotta look good, takes a little bit more time. Putting that one day aspect into these sentences allows the universe to understand that you're willing to wait for it. So it gives them time to actually get things put together, and then next thing you know, here you are, you got it. Let's see. What we got? The miracle of nature. Thank you, angels, for helping me to reconnect through nature and fresh air. Right? Get yourself out there in nature. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you guys are going out there, even then taking a walk. I don't know if you guys probably don't live by beaches or whatever the case is, but even if you just take a walk by your nature parks, you know, by the trees, you guys might live in a big city, but just try to at least go outside and get some fresh air now and then, you know. Even if you just go outside and stand outside on your balcony, you know what I mean? Let's say you work all day online and you ain't got no time. Just go outside for 5-10 minutes just to get some fresh air, right? I know it's nice to be in your house and things like that, and you feel like, you know, you have AC or whatever, but just step outside, get some fresh air, and kind of clear your mind a little bit from things. You're gonna be connecting with nature, with something that you know God created. You know what I'm saying? So this came in reverse, a spirit animal. Thank you, Animal Kingdom, for blessing my path of love. right? You guys might not. You guys might be feeling like the reverse. You guys might be feeling like your path wasn't blessed, right? I want you guys to kind of rethink, kind of just rethink your mental, your kind of rethink that mindset of yours, right? Make sure that you guys are like, if you guys feeling like, first and foremost, if you guys feeling like your path is not blessed, because I've took paths where, you know, I thought they was right? People was telling me they was on the right path, but I didn't feel it, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, if you're not, you know, anybody can be a great this or that, or a great runner, or a great this person, that person, but we're not trying to be great from others' eyes. We're trying to be great from our own perspective. We're trying to actually enjoy the moments and actually be happy while doing so, right? So this comes down to your spirit, right? And your spirit animals are pretty much the people that's the kind of like the souls of like the ancestors that are put into a certain animal that like watches over you type of thing, right? So if you live you know, like the area I live in is a lot of birds, right? So spirit animal could be any birds, right? And they're kind of watching over you, and you know, they see that you're probably unhappy within your path, right? So you often don't really get that much gratitude, especially, you know, that's crazy too, because if you feel like you're not feeling that gratitudeness, like that gratefulness, you're probably doing something you're not supposed to be doing, you know, because you feel like you haven't been blessed yet. And I want you guys to really think about something that you really genuinely like to do. And especially a purpose is different from a passion too. Your purpose will work itself out. Your passion typically takes a lot of effort. Like just because you're passionate with something don't mean you're supposed to do it too. Like, you know, like I know a lot of people is passionate about music or whatever the case is, but a lot of people are supposed to be like probably speakers or, you know, helpers and things like that. If you're using your gifts in other resources that probably doesn't benefit the soul or a purpose full meaning behind what the people like. Okay, there's, for an example, there's a lot of people that rap, right, for an example, but sometimes they rap about things that are destructive to humans, right, which is not a bad thing because they're using their talents, but then it's like they can do a little bit, you know, and it's controversial because we indulge in that and we like that stuff sometimes and things like that. But it's important that you understand sometimes your passion brings less kind of a good vibe than your purpose, right? So if you are passionate about things and you decide to take on it as a path, just be mindful and just see where it's going, because sometimes it can like be a lot of work you got to do, because that might not be your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Your purpose is typically something that comes off easy to you. It's very it's probably not something that you're as excited for as your passion, but it's something that eventually when you continue to do it, you become excited for it. And that's one thing I've learned from somebody on YouTube is like, I was watching them, they was like, yo, a lot of times your purpose or something that you're when you like at first when you start something that you're not good at, you don't really want to, like, you don't feel like it's your passion, right? But once you keep doing it, you become passionate about it when you get good at it. So just keep that in mind. Like, just like some things you might enjoy doing, then you start to pick up on something else, and then you're like, okay, but I enjoy doing this more, but maybe the thing that you was picking up on might be better. In other words, let's say you're in a band and you grew up playing the guitar, like everybody was a guitar player and things like that, but you was passionate about a guitar. Then but you always been shown this specific way of playing piano and all of that. Next thing you know, you start playing guitar and it wasn't going the way that it was supposed to. That's probably because you were supposed to do piano. I know it sounds like very controlling, but that's just how the universe works sometimes. Sometimes things that can seem controlling or whatever case is actually the reason why we're supposed to be doing that specific thing, because it might lead to something else. It might lead to a point where you as a pianist, I think they call it, might even be able to actually retire younger, where you can pursue a career in guitar for the next 6, 7, 8 years, you know, versus you spending all your life trying to get your name out as a guitar, and you can't even gain it because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. If this makes sense to you guys, most times, like I said, most times your purpose is something that comes off as easy. Like, this is not really my passion, but this is my purpose. You know what I mean? What I'm doing is more about my purpose, because I've gotten introduced to it, and I've always been doing it no matter where I've went. I've always been thinking like differently and more on a spiritual note and things like that, but I've never been into the reading cards and stuff. So, you know, it's not really about what you're passionate about. Like really, like me, I like making beats, but making beats isn't something that's my purpose, because I wasn't around musicians and things like that. I mean, I've, you know, went into it later, but I've never like had like I've had people that like my father, whatever, does DJ, whatever, but it wasn't like to a point where it was like forced. You know what I'm saying? So this is more, this is in everything. I know this is in everything, but you will find that you get drifted off to your purpose, and then you be trying to like fight the current, and it gets harder. You know what I'm saying? So just follow your purpose. But as far as this card goes, make sure that you guys are once you guys start to follow your path, you'll start to be grateful, right? And you'll start thanking them for the blessings that your path and your love for your path and your love for your purpose. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, we have, thank you, Michael, for surrounding me with your protective light. You are protected. You are protected, right? So through all these situations, right? I don't know if you guys ever been in situations like I think heavily, as you guys can see, I'm just going all over the place. But if you're listening to what I'm saying, it can make sense. If you need to play back the video, but it can make sense if you're actually listening to me, versus if you're just watching me and just waiting for me to slip up and say something crazy. If you're that type of person, I'm going to sound crazy to you. But if you're listening to me, then I promise you it's going to make sense, right? But yeah, you guys are protected. There's going to be situations where you feel you like I'll look back on my situations. I'll be like, wow, like, you know, I made it across that. I made it out of this or whatever. But it's because we're protected, and it's not about being favored or whatever. It's just when you live by what you're supposed to live by and do what you're supposed to do, situations can, like, as y'all can see, I'm recording off my laptop. Like, my phone just started acting up, but I at least have a laptop. So when you start to think differently and start to think more like advanced than what the negative system wants you to think, like, as far as like, when you start to think bigger, you know what I'm saying? That's the protectiveness coming into place. That's like the natural thing where you start to maneuver different. Like, I always look back, I be like, oh, how that happened or whatever, because it's protective. It's not about me being favored or whatever the case is. It's just about when you start to listen to your inner self and start not going off of how you feel, but, you know, what was really practical, and you just start to, you know, use your skills and like I said, follow your purpose and follow what you're supposed to do. Everything else plays itself out, and that's a protective line right there. You gotta still do the work and stuff, but you realize that things do work out for the better, especially you being patient and allowing things to take its time and just forwarding back and doing what you gotta do and not trying to always think about it, always want things to happen. It just works out the way that it does. We're gonna end you reading her. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for the Aquarius read, and I will see you guys on the next video.